For a long time on YouTube, I was married, and people knew that I had a husband, and people knew that I was non-monogamous and that I had other partners and things going on. But officially now, Caitlyn V has a boyfriend. I don't. Do you like the term boyfriend, by the way?
I love the term boyfriend.
You love the term boyfriend.
I don't want to be a partner.
Why don't you want to be a partner?
We don't own an LLC. Like we are.
It's too like corporate for you.
It's definitely too corporate for me.
Oh, see, I really like the term partner. The meaning of the word partner is really great, right? Like we are partners in this. We are doing this thing together. Friend, boy, like you are neither a boy nor a friend. You're like a very special version of a relationship. A friend doesn't really seem to characterize it.
And I'm a big romantic, and just there's nothing romantic to me about the word partner.
Partner is not a romantic term.
If it was like fucky lovey partner, I don't know, maybe. This is Joanne. This is my fuck love. Like I don't know, like that could be a fuck love.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
Think back to the sex education you had in school. If it was anything like mine, it was stigmatizing, judgmental, and totally unhelpful. But not to worry. The experts are here to offer the sex ed we wish we had. Welcome to Sex Ed with DB. We're a feminist podcast and multimedia platform bringing you all the sex ed you never got through unique and entertaining storytelling, centering LGBTQ and BIPOC experts. Follow along with us as we revolutionize the way we talk about sex, and tune into Sex Ed with DB wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to the MacLeod
Shout out to the volleyball vixens, to the horny hurdlers, to the ass-up archers, and that pole vaulter guy with the big dick. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the manwhorepod. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm going to keep the intro kind of brief this week. I know a lot of y'all are probably here to listen to Caitlyn V, sex coach, YouTuber extraordinaire. She is back on the pod. She's got some life updates to share with her fans and with all of you, and I'm going to get to her in just a little bit. First, the Naked Comedy Show. It is back, and tickets are now on sale. August 22nd, 7 and 9 o'clock p.m. shows at the Hacienda here in Brooklyn. Ticket link at the top of the show notes. And if you use promo code EGGPLANT, get $5 off your tickets. No big deal on me. You can always go to manwhorepod.com for my upcoming stand-up dates. Like this Saturday, I'm going to be in Stanley, Virginia. I didn't think I'd be there either, but I'm going to be at Daughters of the Stars Theater, and you can go to my website to find the ticket link. My online flirting tip of the week. I don't like that the internet is making people forget that they're interacting with other human beings. Particularly, it's like anonymous accounts with an avatar profile picture, and the username is something like opening state of sex dicks 302. And then they're surprised when they're very aggressive or gruff opening messages are not met with open arms. And like most people, don't respond to really aggressive sexual comments from a stranger whose face they can't even see. Like when you approach someone at a bar, someone tried to make this comparison recently. Hey, what? That's just how someone would approach you at a gay bar. But my DMs are not a gay bar. And at least at that gay bar, I can see the man's face who's coming up to me and saying, I want to draw you naked. I'm not going to pretend that, people don't shoot their shots, okay? Relationships, and in my case, really great sex stories have started from somebody sliding into somebody's DMs and shooting a shot. But all the people involved tended to have a profile picture with their face. Possibly even a username like that corresponds to a real person in the world. So I would say that the tip is, remember that when you hit on someone online, you are a stranger, and the faster you are not a stranger, the more open that person may be. A few months back, I put out an episode, How to Hook Up on Reddit, right? And I think I shared pretty much all the wisdom I have to share about how I've had so much sexual success on Reddit, having stranger play scenes and threesomes and group sex and just random acts of blowjobs. I do think a crucial part to all of that success was I wasn't hiding who I am. Particularly when you're talking to women, my first message, it says, "Hi, my name is," which, by the way, I feel like that sentence needs to come back hardcore in this internet age. Just start with "Hi, my name is" and go from there. Or your witty, clever opening line and then "Hi, my name is." "Hi, my name is an immediately disarming sentence that can like calm the nerves of everyone involved. Do you know the origins of like shaking someone's hands? Like you would extend your hand to shake it as a way to say like, "Hi, I am not armed." Like there's no secret knife. We can shake hands and we're safe. "Hi, my name is extending your hand to say like, hey, me and my real identity are willing to be accountable for the words I'm about to say. Anyways, some lady posts on Reddit that she wants a guy to come over and eat her pussy for an hour while she plays the kazoo. You know how I make that happen is I start with "Hi, my name is," and then I engage with the post that she wrote. I don't say, "Hey, what's the address? Hey, here's my dick. Do you want it?" Treat it like a job application, right? When you like see a job listing, you go through the listing and you pull words and phrases to use in your cover letter as you try to state why they should pick you. Treat the post that you found on Reddit or FetLife or wherever kind of like that. And I would do my Reddit encounters on my main Reddit profile. Like you click on my profile, you know it is Billy Procida. You know this is what I look like. You know this is my Instagram. And I think that puts a lot of women at ease to know like, okay, this is a real person. I can really see all of his recent Instagram photos, so I know what he looks like for real. He's using intelligible sentences that seem to be responding to the words in my post and not just to his horny thoughts. Let me sit on his face. Time to clean my kazoos. Online flirting tip of the week, particularly for the menfolk, is remember that you are a stranger, so make yourself not a stranger fast. Hey, Caitlyn, if you're hearing this, how was that? Did I do good? Was that good? Caitlyn wants me to get into coaching. Okay, let's do a quick fan whore appreciation moment before we get to Caitlyn V. I want to give a shout out right now to Jean. Jean, thank you for supporting the Man Whore podcast on Patreon. At that $3 tier, Jean gets to enjoy ad-free episodes, Discord benefits, an invite to our monthly hot movie night, as well as my new monthly installment, Behind the Mic, where I tell y'all how things really went down with my guests from that past month. Like at the end of August, I'm going to tell you what it was like and maybe or maybe not what happened when I was in bed with Caitlyn V. So gain access to a slew of great benefits, as well as the satisfaction of supporting an indie podcaster at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Caitlyn V, she was on the show back in the fall, almost a year ago. She had not really yet told her followers that she was getting divorced. She kind of broke that news here on the pod. Well, she's got more news to share that many of you Caitlyn V fans may not yet realize, but Caitlyn has a boyfriend. She has a boyfriend. She likes to kiss him and other acts that she didn't really want to share because that's their private thing and he's new to being in the public spotlight. But Caitlyn V has a boyfriend. She has a boyfriend. And she's like all cute and smitten about it too. So let's go catch up with my good friend Caitlyn V. Enjoy ad-free episodes at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast.
But you know why? Because I could actually eat gluten in Japan. I can't eat gluten here in America.
Why?
I'm one of those folks who is, I'm not gluten intolerant. I'm intolerant to the Monsanto variant of the genetically modified grain of wheat that we sell and grow in America. But in other countries, they don't have that shit. So I can eat gluten. And that duffel bag over there with the moons on it is just filled with bread.
Just like Japanese bread.
Like gluten that I can eat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like Japanese snacks.
Japanese snacks.
There are some people who they love like importing and ordering Japanese snacks. Like I'll go to someone's house who looks just like you, and they'll open the cupboard.
What do you
and
mean
it's
by just looks
like
just like
there's
you?
just like white and
girl,
whatever,
blue
like
eyes,
white girl,
blonde hair.
yeah, and everything's in Japanese.
Yeah.
Not because they're into the culture, but they love. There's something about the snacks there.
Yeah. The snacks are great.
Yeah.
The gluten is digestible.
Monsanto really sits well with my body, apparently. So I do okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Caitlyn, how you doing? You're did you go with the boyfriend?
No. I was visiting friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you now? So how long is this boyfriend?
Okay. So
Hold on, I forgot.
are
to
we
ask.
are we launched?
Well,
are
real
we
quick,
starting?
I forgot to ask. Anything off? The most important of the questions.
Anything? I will. I'm not going to share any personal information about him. But
Okay.
but that's
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna like ask like, so what's he?
What is this?
You're the one on the
Right,
on this
right,
comfy
right.
bed with
No.
extra
there
large
are
pillows.
1, 2, 3. There's like 11 pillows.
There were like 4 normal size pillows. She's like, we need more pillows. I'm like, okay, fine. And she
Yeah.
comes in, not just one more pillows,
Okay.
but like massive, like they're for Andre the Giant.
If you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story, because we are recording on my bed and we needed more
Jealous?
pillows
Okay.
to you're rightfully so. We needed more pillows to create more space so that the outdoor clothes didn't touch the sheets. But then Billy was wearing jeans and it was not going to work to record this podcast like on a bed, cross-legged, wearing jeans. So I asked him to put on some shorts that my friends bought in Japan and I brought home for them that are amazing. They're purple. They have thin black stripes on them and they say dualism on the pockets.
They look like the Incredible Hulk's purple shorts. But I am, yes,
Yeah.
this is Billy Perceived from the Manwhore Podcast in Yosha's shorts. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Thank you, Yosh, for your shirt. And and I also am wearing a shirt that I got in Japan that is funny. I can't read it.
Yeah,
What does
it's
say?
you can't read it either.
I can't
Great.
read it.
No one can read it.
I can read it from up here.
It says, it's extra large and it says, you've been looking cheerful these days, bye. BY. And I stared at the shirt for a good full 2 whole minutes, constantly rereading it because the bye at the end makes the sentence
Because you
less
assumed that
sensible.
you were going to get it.
Yeah,
you were
of
like,
course.
there's something here to get, and
I
I'm
went to
going to
college.
understand it.
I thought I could read sentences.
There was nothing to understand at all. I love it so much.
Yeah. And then you were like, that's the point of the shirt? I'm like, this is bullshit. It's like fucking Japan.
I learned so much more about your mentality by this shirt. This is going to be great. This shirt is a filter for humans now.
Well, sex coach Caitlyn V is back after her awesome appearance last year. So welcome
Wow,
back.
she's back. She's in a very different state in her life and a very different headspace because I literally flew back from Japan today. It's like 5 a.m. in Tokyo. It's, I don't even know if that's accurate. It's evening here in Los Angeles. I slept on a flight. You're getting me in rare form.
And I was all like, hey, if you're not going to be in a good spot, you'll have just been traveling. You were like, nah, I'm good. I'm ready to fucking party.
Well, partially that's because I
bought big furry boots out in Japan. Like, I'm ready to go.
I did come back with a lot of really great clothes. But partially that's because I have a very full weekend and I was really committed. I'm very appreciative of you making time for me and I really wanted to come back on the show because I was like a sad divorcee the first time that you interviewed me and now I am a fun and spunky divorcee.
Well, I think before you were sad and still spunky divorcee, and the spunky I think stays with you. It comes with the haircut.
I'm baseline pretty spunky.
How many times since I last saw you, well, since we recorded, have I texted you about your haircut? There's an advertisement on the subway right now of like someone like blowing a big like bubblegum bubble.
Who has my haircut?
Not this that. She looks like you. Like I thought like you did an ad campaign.
I'd like to add that my hair is different this time because now I'm spiking it straight up instead of having it flop over. So anyways, I am spunky. I'm a spunky person.
I see you.
I've been
I validate
spunky.
you in your choices.
But I'm far spunkier. I feel way more like myself, and also slightly less like myself because I haven't slept and I don't know what time it is. And yeah, this version of me is the one that wants to be interviewed. So thank you so much for making time for me. And the reason my weekend is so filled is because I have a new partner that I'm trying to spend a lot of time with, and also a friend whose birthday I'm celebrating.
But he's a big reason why you're all upbeat, and you were like, I have new things going on in the life.
Yeah.
And so tell us why. There's a boyfriend.
I have a boyfriend.
Caitlyn V has a boyfriend.
Boyfriend.
That's going to be the title of the episode. Is Caitlyn V has a boyfriend. It's good SEO, right? You're the YouTube queen.
Right. You know, what's funny about that is that I haven't always come out in every YouTube video about my relationship status. So a portion of my audience knows that I was married. A portion has no idea because they've just never heard me say that because I don't say it all the time.
Okay.
And I didn't
You don't start every video with like, today we're talking about ejaculation control. By the way, I am divorced.
I am married. Yeah. So for a long time on YouTube, I was married, and people knew that I had a husband, and people knew that I was non-monogamous and that I had other partners and things going on. But officially now, Caitlyn V has a boyfriend. I don't. Do you like the term boyfriend? By the way,
I love the term boyfriend.
you love the term boyfriend.
Oh yeah, it's like I had a non-binary partner who like wanted us to be partners. I was like, it's really important to me to be a boyfriend. I don't.
Yeah, you could be a boyfriend.
I don't want to be I don't want to be the partner. I don't want to be a partner.
Why don't you want to be a partner?
We don't own an LLC. Like we are.
It's too like corporate for you.
It's definitely too corporate for me.
Oh, see, I really like the term partner. I like how generic it is, but also the meaning of the word partner is really great, right? Like we are partners in this. We are doing this thing together. Friend, boy, like you are neither a boy, right? Nor a friend. You're like a very special version of a relationship. A friend doesn't really seem to characterize it.
Being like doing partner, sure, but like the word partner makes me go ick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I also like I grew up like nobody wanted to be my girlfriend. I grew up with like no girls were not interested in me. I didn't know how to talk to girls. I got to college. I had a girlfriend for a year. And then, the origin of this podcast was me interviewing women I hooked up with about why we didn't work out, because every time I wanted to become like boyfriend, girlfriend, they would always tell me, let's just keep it casual. I just, whatever. And so when I finally had a girlfriend and announced, oh, Billy has a girlfriend, like I got emails being like, yeah, Billy, like congratulations.
So that language actually has like very specific meaning and like a very desired meaning for you.
And I'm a big romantic, and there's nothing romantic to me about the word partner. Oh. But I'm open to other terminology so long as it's kind of cute.
I totally get partner is not a romantic term.
If it was like fucky lovey partner, I don't know, maybe. This is Joanne. This is my fuck love. Like I don't know. Like that could be a fuck love. We love. We fuck.
You know what? I personally.
When you get married,
I love the term lover.
I love lover.
Right.
Great term.
This is my lover, but that also is a way of saying that like I'm not committed to this person.
This is not my girlfriend.
This is someone who I have sex with.
It is. Yes.
It's great sex. It's high quality sex. We are lovers, but like
we even care about each other.
We're not planning a future.
Correct. Maybe fuck love's like when you get married. It's like this is my fuck love taxes partner.
That really is the distinction between married and not.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Is the tax bennies.
Tax bennies.
Yeah. So wait, how long have you had the boyfriend?
Okay, so
or whatever you want to call him.
We went on our first date in February. Okay. It is now
like right after
July.
I probably saw you. Because I think I was here like end of January, early February.
Okay, so I was on the podcast.
Yeah. Last year,
October,
right? But when
around
I came
Halloween.
out here,
yes, you came to visit Los Angeles. I was celibate at that time, and then the minute. Okay, so I want to make a couple points. Celibacy was awesome. I went to a couple play parties as a celibate person, and it was incredible to see how people interacted with me, especially as a woman. When men like learned that I was celibate. Some men were like, why? Was like, that seems so arbitrary. What the fuck going on? Right. And then other guys were like, wow, I really respect that. And I was like, I want to fuck you so much right now. Like, think your level of respect for me not wanting to fuck you is making me want to fuck you so much. But the guy who was like groany, whiny, like irritated by my celibacy. I felt so disrespected by that. It was such a turnoff.
It's very turn.
But like at a previous play party, maybe, if I had been I was attracted to this person. I may have actually done something with him at a play party in the past, but I would never have gotten to experience that part of him that was like such an ick to me. And I'm so glad that I didn't do anything with him. So going to the play party celibate was a great experience.
Why did you go to a play party celibate? Like
This is my job. Like I'm a professional. I'm a sex so I wanted to go to the play party. I had professional reasons to be there.
Okay.
I like being in a space where people are having sex and eroticism is occurring around me. Whether or not I'm partaking in it is less important to me.
Was it a little torturous to be there and have that all around you?
Not at all. No, because ever since I was, 14, I've been sexual in one way or another, or open to it. So this was really the longest period of time of my adult life where I was explicitly not engaging in sex. And it felt great. I mean, there were times where it felt complicated. There were times where I was attracted to somebody and I like would have potentially moved forward on that impulse. But just like, I don't know, if maybe you have a relationship with a substance and you try sobriety for a little bit, I imagine that like after a minute, that also feels like a sense of freedom. Yeah. That's how I felt about celibacy. I felt like so free, and all of this energy that I had been like putting out in the world and all of these like doors that I was kind of leaving open, like this could happen. When those were all closed, something shifted inside of me and I got to experience myself and I got to experience both men and women in a different way.
And what made you finally decide to end the period of celibacy?
So I assigned myself a 90-day period of celibacy.
Okay.
This is part of my post-divorce, post-break, because I broke up with my other partner.
Yeah.
And just thought it would be best for me to take a break altogether. And so February 19th was like the date where it was over. It was like, that was the 90 days. But at the end of that period of celibacy, as soon as I became open to it, 2 men just appeared in my life. And one of them I had actually met in January at a New Year's party, or re-met. I had known him before. Actually, both of them I had known before, that to be fair. But I hadn't recognized them as like potential partners for me previously. And then something about this time period kind of opened my eyes to seeing them like that for the first time. He was the person who at a New Year's party was like, "Oh, you're celibate? I totally respect that. That is incredible. I'm like super attracted to you." And I was like, "Okay, noted. I will be hitting you up on February 19th. And he even reached out to me like on February 18th and was like, "Hey, just checking in. Like you had mentioned that this is your day. If you're still interested, I'm still interested. I'd love to take you out on a date."
Yeah.
Hot. So I went on 2 dates.
Okay.
That person, by the way, is not the person who I'm dating. Oh. The person that we're talking about, who I met.
Red herring.
New Year's. Ooh.
Little twist in the movie.
Twist.
Yeah. We think it's guy A, it's guy B the whole time.
I went out with him in a couple weeks after that.
Okay.
And then the person who I am dating now, I went out with on Leap Day. This year was leap year. So February 29th, which I thought was cute.
Can you share how you met him?
I actually met him through friends 2 years ago at a wedding that I officiated. And then he kind of like remained in contact with other friends. So I was seeing him at events every so often. And this was very interesting for me. So we were attending these events regularly. And each time that I saw him at one of these events, I was becoming more and more drawn to him. And it was escalating very quickly internally, like energetically, where I was like, wow, I'm feeling extremely attracted to this person. Like this is more than just a crush. This feels like this is something that I like really need to act on. It wasn't just like a casual, like, oh, that person's attractive, I would sleep with them. Yeah. And
is he poly? Is he in that world?
No, actually.
Okay.
I think this might, I'm gonna do monogamy for a little bit. Oh my god,
I don't. Another one bites the dust.
No, listen.
Everyone, pour one out for a lost sister.
Here. No, I want to make some distinctions here because I am very happy being romantically monogamous and sexually non-exclusive.
Okay.
Right. I think that's a really big distinction.
Yeah.
I don't need to be in my life, the way that it works out between business and family and things that I got to meet, I don't have a lot of bandwidth to be balancing multiple romantic relationships. I literally can't give that much to another person. I can barely give as much as I want to give to one person. But I'm a sex coach and professional. I'm always going to be going to play parties. I'm always going to want to have new experiences with other people and to learn other things and like the sex side of sex.
Oh, so you're still going to be non-monogamous?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Everyone.
You said poly.
False alarm.
You said poly.
Yeah. Well, you said monogamy. I was like, whoa, okay.
Oh, you're
okay.
right.
But cool. Okay.
And romantic monogamy.
And does he have any experience
I
in
think
that?
that would be like a monogamish relationship.
Oh, that word. Yeah.
You don't love that word?
I don't like it. It feels very like wishy-washy. We don't want to pick.
So what do we call it though?
What, when we're non-monogamous?
Well, I think
we're
this is a good
non-monogamous.
distinction for me too, because like I'm very bisexual but hetero romantic.
Okay.
So in terms of like relationship, I really want to be in a relationship with someone who identifies as man.
Sure. So, but if you're going to go,
but like sexually, I'm very turned on by and aroused and attracted to, and want to have sex with both men and women and folks who are sort of like along the spectrum of non-binary and trans
Right.
too.
Yeah, so I mean that's non-monogamy. I view non-monogamy as the big umbrella term, and sometimes it's really just as simple as that to me. You know, I mean, you could break down non-monogamy into all these different labels and classifications, but at the end of the day, it's we're not sexually exclusive, and that's non-monogamous.
Yeah,
I think the people who go monogamish, I go like, oh, like what do you want? I feel like they want to like retain the social benefits of being monogamous, but also like kind of say like, ooh, like I don't know, we can be fun. It's like I think politically it's better for everyone who doesn't technically do monogamy to recognize it, so that the world realizes, oh, there's actually a lot more of that around than we realized, and maybe we'll start treating them like they're not dirty little sluts, and like maybe they are normal people.
I think what you're saying is the term monogamish centers monogamy still.
Yeah.
Right. So non-monogamous.
It's like trying to say like we do the slutty thing only like a little bit, only like an ish amount.
Right,
and it's like it's as if then that because like that's dirty and bad. And it's like if there's nothing wrong with it, then why do we have to classify like how often you bang other people?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just my take on it. But okay, so does he have any experience with open relationships, or do you feel like you're going to have to kind of lead?
He does not have as much experience as I do.
Okay.
But he's an excellent communicator. Like really easy to relate. He's a person who is very easy to relate to and cares a lot about what's best for me, which I think is a really minimum standard attractive feature of a partner. And so I'm not that concerned about it. If you're hearing a cat in the background, this is unusual. This cat doesn't really like men. I didn't think he was going to be a problem, but I've also been away from him for 2 weeks and he missed me a lot. So.
I get to my girl's place and like the cat just like kind of like lays on me on top of me on the couch, and she's like, I don't understand. She hates new people.
Listen, that's such a good sign. If my cat likes someone or not is a criteria for a dating long-term relationship.
Good to know. Yeah. Good to know. Thanks for the endorsement. No kidding. No, sometimes like I don't know. I haven't given her a nickname yet, so I was like tripping.
Girlfriend?
The lady. Not yet.
Right, not girl. Oh yeah. I was like, side note. I want to talk to you as a public figure. Like I want to hear about. You share a lot more about your sex life than I do publicly, and I want to hear your thoughts on how to do that. Okay, so nickname. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. I was gonna end up making a big dumb joke about like when parents like me. It's fine. What was your question? Like I know the joke I was gonna make. I was like, it's not as good for like the build up we're doing.
Oh, okay. So I completely derailed it.
You didn't derail it.
I mention that I haven't slept? Okay.
No, you didn't derail it. It's not that great of a joke.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm navigating this newly. I shouldn't say newly. I navigated it with my husband before. I didn't really talk that much about our sex life.
Correct.
But it's different when it's like new and exciting sex, right? Like I was with my partner, my ex, before I started my YouTube channel. Like we were already together. But as I have developed as a content creator and I've had new sexual experiences and new partnerships, like it's been that's a great source of content, right?
Yeah.
Like that's very inspiring, right? My sex life is more exciting now than it was when I was married.
Especially for like the relationship with fans, if you're going to be the type of creator who does let in a little bit. There are some people, they go like, you're not going to get to know anything about me, and that they've maybe accepted that. But if you do let them in a bit, it's exciting for them. They're excited to hear about you have a new person in your life. They are sad for you when you have the big breakup. Like I think I remember the first breakup with Paige. I got multiple requests like, can I send you something? And then I got like all these packages with like candy and bourbon and cookies, and just be like, I'm so sorry, so there's
now I feel like I missed an opportunity.
I mean, hey, look, I had listeners buy me a bed once. It was, there's, if you let them in a bit, they'll.
Caitlyn V fans, it's not too late to send me cookies and gluten-free cookies, please.
or cookies with gluten from Japan. From Japan. So yeah, no, there's a little bit there where like they get to experience that excitement. So you could say, I tried this toy for the first time. And it's different than you giving a product review of the toy, because it's more like just a personal anecdote, and it both functions as a product review while also being this exciting story to experience.
And I also am having a little bit of trouble even trying new toys with this person, because I'm so into them that I don't like guinea pigging with them, which is unusual also for me.
Sure. I get that. You said he's a good communicator. A reason why you're not too worried about his newness to open relationships.
Yeah.
What's an example? What was a marker to you of like, oh, this guy's a good communicator?
So he, on our second date, led the conversation about boundaries, intentions, and desires. He initiated that conversation. Here I am, a professional. I'm the person who not only wants to have that conversation, but usually has to lead it. And I try to do it, with a lot of finesse. And I actually don't usually name that that's exactly what I am doing. Mostly because I don't want to appear as like too coachy. Right. Okay. But he came to me and said, okay, here are my boundaries for tonight. And like, panties drop. Like that is so hot. It's so hot that I didn't have to leave
someone's reading the books.
Yes. Yeah. Read the books, studied, so I asked him out on a date, and I didn't tell him that it was a date, which I learned a lot about dating. So I was in a relationship for 9 years. So I haven't dated in 9 years, and I'm in my mid 30s. So even though I'm a relationship coach and expert, I haven't thought that critically about dating in initial phases of dating for a while, right? I'm a sexpert. That's not the dating stuff isn't the thing that is most central to what I do. So I invited him out for dinner, but I didn't explicitly tell him that it was a date. And then we were at dinner, and he asked me about dating post-divorce. And I said, oh, well, this is only my second date. And his response was, this is a date. It's like, oh my God, I'm okay. I'm not being a great communicator in this instance. Has that ever happened to you?
When I don't know if it's a date or they don't know if it's a date. I think I've been on like maybe one of those where I didn't know. But yeah. Not often. Usually it's pretty clear. Yeah. Because I won't hit on someone unless I can tell they're into me. I'm not into women who aren't into me. So like if I ask someone out, it's because I have a reasonable thought that like they're into.
But do women just go around asking men out to dinner as friends? Maybe it's safer to assume
if we're already friends, but not like not like as a, hey, let's become friends. Let's have a one-on-one dinner. That's not a date.
I guess we're friends of friends. We've been seeing each other in friend spaces.
How'd you rebound? I assume that when you were like, yes, it's a date, I imagine he was pleased.
Yes, he was pleased, and I was mortified and then relieved.
Just, you can tell me if you think it's a date. Like, take your credit card out at the end if you think it's a date, and if it's not, then
He did actually at the end. So I asked him to dinner, and the way that I was raised, the person who asks is the person who pays. Right?
You hear that, ladies? You hear that? Okay,
but wait, there's a plot twist coming. Sure. Because when the bill came, he turned to me and said, would it be more attractive for you on this date if I paid? And I was like, it would actually. Yeah. So I let him pay for the dinner that I asked him out to on the date that he didn't know was a date. Yeah.
Couldn't be me, but I'm glad that worked out for you.
It was.
My rule of thumb is like whoever has the clearly better car gets the.
We both have nice cars.
No, we don't. You have.
You're looking. You and I don't. Yeah,
no. Yeah. I'll be like,
no, we don't.
When I roll up with my Toyota Camry, if she came in on a bicycle, I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm paying.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. I listen. In a long time, we can have a conversation about financials, but I think it's generally like if I invited you to dinner and I chose the restaurant, I'm the person who's decided how much this thing is going to cost and that we're doing it. I would have definitely split it with him or taken him out to dinner, but I did like that he offered to pay.
I'm a fan of that etiquette. I'm a fan of that. Yeah. So I like how the example, but when he led the conversation about boundaries and desires.
Yeah, not on that, but on a future date. On a future date, he said to me like, we should have a conversation about what our boundaries are for this evening. Here's what's on the table for me. Here's what's not. Here's what I would like. He asked me my intentions for the evening, what my intentions were for our time together. This stuff is that is my like bread and butter. That is such a core piece of how I live my life and who I am. And I had not had a lot of experiences of someone else leading that for me, that I got to just follow their example that they were creating instead of me having to be the person who is initiating those conversations. It was incredible. And the communication since then has just been incredibly clear. I mean, even on that first date, before the boundaries, intentions, desires conversation, when he found out that it was a date, he laid out his like romantic and sexual life for me. It was like, here's where I'm at, here's where I've been, here's my most recent thing. Like he gave me the full lay of the land just right up front. So everything was transparent from like the very beginning. And that's what I mean when I say great communicator.
Yeah.
Clear and capable of expressing what he wants, where he's at, how he sees the relationship between us developing, insecurities, like and very willing to initiate those conversations as well.
What do you think stops people from doing that? Men or women?
Number one, a lack of skills. I think that we just are not skilled at communicating generally, most of us. Ego, defensiveness, fear. A lot of us are afraid that if I speak what it is that I truly desire or don't desire, that I'm going to be rejected. They're going to say no. My feelings are going to get hurt. Their feelings are going to get hurt. I think that this even comes back to the monogamy, non-monogamy conversation. I think more people have flexibility than they know. They're just actually not willing to say things because they are afraid.
Well, I'm glad that he's a good communicator. I'm glad you got that. How did you all tackle the monogamy, non-monogamy talk?
So he knew that I was in a non-monogamous relationship. Okay. I was very clear about that. I shared with him my story about my ex and my ex-boyfriend and my
relationship with someone else, or the marriage that when he said you say he knows you're in a non-monogamous relationship. Are you talking about somebody else, or are you talking about the husband, or
the person who I'm dating now, who I have yet to give a nickname to?
Sorry,
he knew that I was not in a monogamous relationship with my husband.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he knew that was a part of my life.
The setup. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that was always a part of the conversation. But what was interesting to me was as our relationship has evolved, which has been like 4 months ish, as we've been kind of like connecting and furthering and deciding to take it one step at a time, deeper and deeper, how reluctant in the past I have been around even considering a more monogamous relationship. And I think part of this is just because of the phase that I'm in and what I just like came out of in my marriage. Poly was a part of the end of our relationship. It wasn't like the cause of the end of our relationship, but it did play a role in it. And there's a part of me that is so excited to not have to navigate a lot of extra emotional waters right now. Part of that is because I don't have the bandwidth personally right now. I'm not excited about the idea of navigating a bunch of poly relationships. There was a time in my life where that was really exciting to me, where I got juiced up on that. Today, where I'm at, that's not kind of where I really want to be focusing my energy, and so I'm very excited to just go deep with one person. And I really didn't think I don't know if I thought I'd ever be here, but I didn't expect to be saying that at this moment in my life.
Yeah, so quickly after your celibacy.
Well, okay, so here's the other thing I want to say about celibacy. I would highly recommend, if you're going through a divorce, you went through a breakup, you've been sexually open and exploring and adventurous, there is something to be said about taking like a 90-day break from looking for or thinking about or having sex with other people. And there's different ways that you could do this. You could look at it like a 90-day, or it could be 6 months. 90 days is arbitrary, but I think that's kind of the minimum number that I would recommend. You could take it as a break from like all attention from the opposite sex or the same sex, if that's who you're attracted to. You could take it as a break from like all sexual contact. Like, it changes the way that you move throughout the world. I think that it was powerful.
What was was the first time with the current guy or with a different date? The first time you
my post celibacy was with a different person. It was with the guy from New Year's.
Okay, so what was it like the first sex to happen post celibacy?
It was sex. I don't know.
That's it. There's nothing like, it feels like I was in a drought and I finally got a bottle of water. No, I mean, I was still masturbating. Okay. I wasn't. Yeah, but there's something about like other human touch. Like, I went around the time that when I was out here last time, I was like in the middle of this, like, I think I did about 3 months where I didn't have like PIV sex, or where like, I didn't like fuck anybody else. I think there was like maybe a little bit like oral stuff. There's only so celibate I can do. But there is something about human touch and like looking into a person's eyes. I don't know. I feel like it's different than, I'm getting off because I'm masturbating.
Well, I also, the lived experience of being a woman is that I get a lot of physical contact. I get a lot of intimacy from my non-sexual relationships. Okay. So I didn't feel like I was really lacking in intimacy.
You get a lot of good hugs.
I get long hugs. I do a lot of breathing. Okay. Like, I get snuggles.
Are you giving a noogie?
That was me snuggling. Like, I get to snuggle. Like, I have a cat that's very cuddly. Like, I didn't feel like I was really missing out on those aspects of human touch and human connection. Looking back on it, and also because we were non-monogamous, it wasn't like I hadn't had sex with people who were not my husband, or not my boyfriend at the time. So it wasn't like that long since I had sex.
But once you did it, the sex, you're like, it was fine. It was sex. It was good.
Yeah, it was exciting.
It was nothing. It was nothing like explosive about it.
It was good. Nothing. I'm not putting that person down at all, or myself down at all. It was good sex. It just was like, we're back in the saddle. It was a very deep. It was at the end of a healing phase for me. That was the other thing, is it wasn't really craving sex during the celibacy. Like, it's not like I went celibate because I was so horny and like desirous of sex that I felt like I had to cut myself off. I was sad. I was depressed. I was more heartbroken than I had ever been in my entire life. I didn't have much of a sex drive to be contending with during that period of celibacy either. So getting back into sex was sort of like, this again.
All right. So I'm going to pivot just a little bit where you and another sex coach friend of ours have been nudging me into the possibly doing the sex coach thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Hard yes. Big, massive, enthusiastic yes. Where were we going with that?
No, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, here's the thing. You have a lot of information in your head that other people don't, including myself. You and I are both sex experts in different ways, right? You sent one of the prime examples of this. You recently sent me a podcast episode to listen to, which was on hooking up using Reddit, right? And I learned so much from this podcast. Trust me, I have done my fair share of like internet connecting with the world, but you have such a treasure trove of knowledge, and there are so many people out there who would benefit from having your specific knowledge applied to their specific situation in a one-on-one context. And the Reddit is such a silly example because it extends just so much further than that. But like when I think about what makes a great coach, it's someone who has dealt with something and figured it out, not just for themselves, but in a way that is replicable and applicable to other people, and who can see other people's potential and other people's greatness and help them to see it for themselves. Like every great coach that I've ever had has seen a better version of me than I could see and then helped me to get there. And like, I think you could just do that. Like it doesn't make it so fucking hard.
Well, what's there's, having the knowledge is one thing, but what makes a good coach like tangibly helping somebody accomplish their goals? Like beyond knowing
I'm so tempted to just make a crack a joke. Like we need to have a good internet connection. Zoom premium account.
Okay, boomer.
Sorry. Okay, boomer. What? You asked for a tangible thing.
No, like,
okay, I was just following your exact question.
Yeah, you were like,
I was being too literal. Did I mention I haven't slept?
You went to the hard line, literally.
Literally tangible. I think a good quote. Okay, so what's the difference between someone who just gives advice versus a coach? A coach is really good at asking questions and listening. That is a thing that distinguishes a great coach from an okay coach. Is like they are really adept at asking the question that gets to the heart, that gets like right on the spot of the thing that your client is struggling with or can't see for themselves or just hasn't recognized that they need to ask themselves. The quality of your life is really reflective of the quality of the questions that you ask yourself, right? And that you're willing to answer, right? I mean, how much of our lives do we live just by default? Because we don't stop to ask, why is it that I do this thing? Like, why is it that I eat this way or believe this religious tradition or go down this road or put up with this bullshit from my friend, partner, spouse, sibling? Why is it that I am the way that I am is like one of the core questions that I think makes for a better quality of life if we're asking that on a regular basis. So a coach asks you those questions in a way that has you reflect and discover new parts of yourself that you would not in their absence.
And in preparing for a call I had kind of recently, talking with another friend of ours, she introduced me to the concept of like giving homework to a client, right? At the end of each session or something like that. How do you determine like what kind of homework to give somebody? I'm sure sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I want you to like write upon these like 2 or 3 questions and we're going to talk about it.
Homework so literally.
No, well, yeah. I mean, I thought that's what it is.
2 to 3 page essay.
Well, sometimes it could be that, but sometimes it could be a practice, like go to a bar and talk to say hello to 3 people.
Okay, yeah.
So like, how do you decide like what to give as homework?
Well, based on the session that you have with them, you recognize the thing that is going to challenge them and get them just far enough outside of their comfort zone that they can survive it without having them go so far out that they freak out and then they contract back. Something that they would not do themselves. If they weren't going to be, the cool thing about coaching is that they're accountable. They know Thursday, 5 p.m., they're going to be on that call with you and they're going to have to admit that they didn't do the thing that you told them to do, right? It's the thing that they should be doing, that they know they should be doing, but they're not going to do unless someone else is holding them to it. So on the writing note, I do give a lot of my clients a homework assignment to write a letter to their penis. Of gratitude and appreciation, because I find that most men relate to their penis as like a tool, as like a somebody who should be just showing up and doing work for them, like an employee, and they're like the worst boss ever.
On my deathbed, I'm gonna write my penis a letter, be like, "Yo, we've had a lot of good times.
Yeah,
been through a lot together. You remember 2012? That was a good time." Remember Cheryl?
Thanks for all the orgasms. Friends. Thanks for being there for me. Sorry I was so hard on you when you weren't there for me. Pun not intended. Sorry I always compared you to other people. But like you don't relate to it like a friend. Like you there's an opportunity that's lost there if we don't come into a relationship with our body parts, that all of our body that is based in gratitude and appreciation. But other homework assignments, I recently asked a client to take 90 days of celibacy, and it worked so well for him. He's doing another 90 days. He's like, it's completely changed the way that I see women.
Wow.
Like, I've never seen women not just as, things as things, number one, as sexual objects or non-objects, but also as a constant source of validation. Does she like me? Does she want me? How am I supposed to be showing up for her in such a way that she will like or want me? He's like, I can just finally be myself with them, and I can allow women to be themselves with me. That's incredibly freeing. That's a really good homework assignment. Yeah. Sometimes
sounds like the kind of guy who couldn't have just gone on a thing where he doesn't know if it's a date or not a date. Like, because he's going to be like, well, this needs to be a date, and if it's not a date, how can I make this get to be a date?
Right, it needs to be a date, right? Because
why would I have dinner with a woman that I'm not going to have sex with?
Men have really been conditioned to see sex with women as a goal.
Yes,
and like, just period.
Yeah.
And how much pain that causes for everyone. Men are having sex that they don't want to have. Women are having sex that they don't want to have. Like, and it ends up being something that is like a measurement of your self-worth or your value in the world. Like, someone who you maybe didn't even feel attracted to or want to have sex with doesn't want to have sex with you, and now you're mad about it, and you're letting that bring you down and make your day, make it mean something about you. And
I know. I think a lot of guys, they view it as a goal to get instead of like a connected experience to have with a human being.
Yeah, and it just robs people of what you can actually have an authentic connection. Yeah.
Wait, so the guy, this particular client, he was coming to you with like maybe did he have a little bit of pushback of like, you're my sex coach. You want me to now not have sex?
So when he came to me, he was in a partnership.
Okay.
And that partnership ended, and the celibacy was after that partnership.
Okay.
It was my recommendation for him as part of like healing, to make sure that he didn't make the same mistakes in choosing another partner who would treat him the way that his previous partner had.
There is also something where I might cut this part. You made it sound like, they're going to go out, and then they know that at Thursday, 5:00, there's a call where they may have to say that they didn't do the thing I told them to do, as if like you have the mentality of like, oh, no, client, you're coming to me to tell me you did the thing. You're not nervous about if they did the thing or if they were successful with the thing. Like, you need to come to me with the success. There's sometimes an element of me where I'd be nervous, like, gosh, I hope I did a good enough job that they did it. And if they didn't, then it says something about me rather than about them.
It's just never about you.
Yeah.
As a coach, I know that it's not about me. Mm-hmm. If they didn't complete their homework assignment, there is a reason for that. Maybe it wasn't a good homework assignment. That's entirely possible. I'll entertain that. Maybe I fucked up and I gave them something that wasn't a good fit for where they are or what their capacity was. Maybe I believed that they were further along than they actually were, and I should have dialed it back to something. But like, more often than not, they didn't complete their homework assignment because they're resistant to change. They actually haven't shared something that with me that would have helped me to understand more their actual situation. They are afraid. If they don't complete their homework, that's information too, right? Then that gives us a place to start from. Okay, so like, what was it about going and talking to 3 women in bars that you couldn't complete? Like, what got in the way? Now we have information and we start there. Oh, okay. You were afraid of being rejected. Let's talk about that. Oh, you picked bars that were frequented mostly by men.
Sure.
Great. Let's talk about that. Right. So it's all just an avenue to the next thing. I think it's like always about, everything is information. Everything is useful. It's never about assigning blame, really. It's just about getting to the next layer of understanding and asking that next question, which is why? Well, why did that happen? Why didn't that happen? Why was that difficult? Why didn't you write that letter? I've given that letter assignment to, I don't know, dozens of clients.
Do you have
now,
to give feedback like, this
100.
ain't a great letter, like, or what are you trying to say? No. I don't think you really opened up to your penis.
No, I don't often read the letters. Most of the time they don't type them. I tell them, it's for them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't care, but I'm not going to read it for quality. I also ask them to handwrite it because I think that makes a big difference as well. And you don't have to hang on to it. You can handwrite it, and then you can like burn it if you want to. Like, instead of go into your, I don't know, your underwear drawer. I don't know what the male equivalent of that is. if someone is reluctant or hesitant or has resistance to doing that assignment, then I know that I need to delve deeper into what that resistance is. And that resistance is going to be the thing that is going to probably be the source of the greatest breakthrough for them.
Okay. And of course, all issues, problems are different, but like on average, vaguely, like how long, if let's pretend it's weekly sessions, how long do you think it usually takes to like solve a problem someone's struggling with? Like 3 months?
I was pretty famous for premature ejaculation. That's what made me kind of YouTube famous to begin with. And I would work with someone for 90 days. And we would usually get it to a place where they had, if they didn't have like total control over their orgasm, they were at least on the road to it.
There was an improvement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they would go from like having no control or lasting 3 to 5 minutes to like at least being able to last like 20 to 30 minutes in the 90-day period. And I know that if they continue to do all the things
20,
that
30 minutes like during the intercourse. So that's why you didn't so quickly give me my flowers for my 30-minute ride I told you about.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Because you were like, yeah, Billy, like that's, why didn't you go an hour?
Listen, okay, so when you shared that story with me, what did you say to me? You said that she rode you on the couch
for over a half hour.
For a half hour.
Yeah.
And my reaction was, oh my God, does she do cardio? Because that's intense.
She's very in shape.
She's got to be in shape, because I was relating more to her. I was like, I don't think riding dick for 30 minutes in a row is a lot. That's a workout. Mm-hmm. That was my reaction. And you're like, that wasn't what I was. That's not the point of the story, Caitlyn.
No, I was like, no. Remember, more importantly, I lasted over half hour, everybody. That's what I was proud about.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, well, if you had taken my course, like I would have gotten you far past that.
Come when you want. I'll give you an affiliate link if you want to sell it. I made a whole course on that. So 90 days. They're able to last. Sure. Erectile dysfunction really depends on, again, how open they are to doing the deeper work, because most erectile dysfunction is going to have an emotional or mental or sort of like even like a spiritual aspect to it for the average person who's otherwise physically healthy.
Yes.
Especially if it's coming up in people who are younger. But again, often like we can get some traction in the first 90 days. So for the first several years that I coached, I only did 90-day increments of coaching. And I was like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, get them out the door. Like that was on to the next one. And I liked that a lot. Now I prefer to work with someone over the course of a year, because I get to go through a whole season, like every season of their life with them. And I just feel like it gets so much deeper and richer, and I really get to know somebody. Like, you really get to know someone over the. You talk to somebody every week for a year.
I was gonna say once a week.
Well, my travel schedule and filming schedule is such that it's usually like 2 to 3 times a month.
Okay.
So because we are going to work together for a year. If we're working together for 90 days, I'm talking to you every single week. We are not missing. Like, we are on schedule. But if I do, 12 months, we're probably doing like 30 sessions. No, what am I saying?
12 52. Times 3 is 36.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like 30, about 30 sessions in a year. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Did I mention I haven't slept? I feel like I've been all over the place on this
you've
podcast.
Been great.
I'm doing good. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, my concern was that you were going to be like exhausted.
My concern was that I was going to be Delulu, and I was right.
But Delulu's entertaining.
Oh, have I been entertaining?
Yes.
We haven't even talked about the sex toys I brought.
Yes, I do. Surprise! I've asked the guest channel in my Discord server, the Champagne Room, and there were a lot of questions. You know what? I'm looking because I have the old. Because I just added what?
I said I love you guys. By the way, thank you.
Yeah, they had questions for you the first time, and the second time around, they've got more questions for you. So some of these are pretty straight to the point. I'll do a little less of my interrupting bullshit during them.
Okay.
For time, because it's so funny. You said a good coach, someone who can listen, and I was just like, half of them listening right now know that this couldn't possibly be for me. But Billy shutting the fuck up. I can do it. I can do it.
It's a mixture of listening and then giving advice.
When compensated properly, I can shut up. But if I'm not being paid, then I will externalize all I want.
Okay, it's actually true for me too.
So
I know that about me. But
this first one comes from Pico the Gallo. He writes on her website, says she's a certified erotic blueprint coach and certified accelerator. 8.
I was just shouting out the erotic
Oh,
blueprints.
yeah.
Hey.
And a certified accelerated evolution coach. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm assuming this person meant this in the spirit of I'm actually curious about these credentials.
Correct. Yes.
And not like, let me.
I think I put my
me
little
check
inflection on that. It was just more like, what are these?
What are these? So the erotic blueprints are a system of understanding our turn on. They were created by my mentor Jaya, discovered by my mentor Jaya. They are a very foundational piece to not just my coaching, but my whole life. And I highly recommend that you check them out. I will give you a link to put into the description.
Okay.
There's a quiz that you can take, but I'll give you the briefest description of the erotic blueprints right now because this is life-changing. So there are 5. They're energetic. These are people who are turned on by tease, anticipation, lack of touch almost. They are very sensitive. They're sensitive to the energy between people. Mm-hmm. And they're very easy to overwhelm.
Do
with
they
like
cry
too
during
much
movies a lot? That then would then definitely
I'm
be
very
me.
energetic, but I don't necessarily cry during movies. So like there's an emotional component, sure. They can have full body orgasms. They can have non-genital orgasms. They are. Anyway, that's enough on that. Sure. Second blueprint, sensual blueprint. People who are turned on by things in their 5 senses. So the way that things smell and sound, the bedding, the music, the lighting. I'll remind you, we're currently lounging in my bedroom right now. It's a very sensual bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Things are velvet and
There's
pink.
literally a stack of money with a stone on top.
It's play money, but yes.
Oh, I forgot.
Was that sensual to you? That's kinky, actually. I'll get to that
a
blueprint.
stack of money
Yeah, it's
is
not very
sensual to me.
It's not very sensual.
As someone on Medicaid, a stack of money is like, oh, that's so hot.
I'm gonna revise that in just a second here. So sensual elements here. I've got like candles that smell nice and lighting that is beautiful. And when I am having sex in here, like music, like all of those things really lead to the experience for me. People who are sensual also have a high tolerance for pleasure. They also can have non-genital orgasms. They also tend to moan when they eat food, but they also tend to lose their orgasms. They'll be really close to having an orgasm and then like whoop, it disappears. They can get stuck in their head during sex. Then the third blueprint is sexual. This is what all of us have been conditioned to believe that we are. And these are people who are turned on by genitals and by orgasms. They can be kind of performance focused and they just like kind of need sex. It's like in the air that they breathe. Like if you told them that you talked about this earlier with the celibacy thing. If you were told that like, you know, sex may not happen or like you don't know when the next time that you are going to have sex is, you might go into like a little bit of like a panic or retreat state. That's a sexual blueprint. And then the fourth is the kinky blueprint. And kink is anything that's taboo. And this is why I say money.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have to be whips and chains physically taboo, ball gags, etc. It can be anything that's psychologically taboo. So like money has a really specific place in our culture where we venerate it and practically worship it. But it's also very taboo to talk about it, to want it, to be open about desiring it, etc. And so one of the things that I do that is kinky to me in my blueprint stack is I have these money guns like from the strip club, which are located down there. And then I have a stack of fake $100 bills that I keep front and center in my bookshelf over here, my bookcase over here, in my altar. And yeah, because I like money. I love it. And I show it appreciation. It's been good to me.
Okay.
But that's kinky to me. Also, it gives me like a kind of like a kinky pleasure to be into that. You know, I also role playing and fantasy can be part of kink. The beautiful thing about the kink blueprint is that it's like anything that's taboo. Like for some people, doggy style is taboo, right? For some of us, it's like penile sounding with e-stim is taboo. Like it doesn't matter. It's very personal, and they have the most erotic sort of creativity. And then the fifth blueprint is the shapeshifter. And that is someone who actually speaks all 4 of the other blueprints, needs all 4 of the other blueprints, and can have the superpowers and the shadow sides of the other 4 blueprints. And when I first discovered these, it was on a podcast with Jaya. She was describing these, and I heard her talk about the shapeshifter, and she said they are often described by their lovers as hungry or like too much. Like you need too much. You're expecting too much. And they shapeshift into whatever form their lover is. So with a partner who is like sexual, I'm just going to shapeshift and I'll be that sexual blueprint. And with a kinky partner, I can shapeshift and be kinky and energetic. I can meet you there too. But I'll never get all my needs met unless I'm very specific about knowing and claiming and asking for each of those other things to be met. So that's why the erotic blueprints have been so important to me. Is like I identified as a hungry shapeshifter. I understood that right away. I went and got training in it. And I've been one of the top blueprint coaches for the last several years.
Amazing. And then the accelerated evolution coach.
Oh, that's a specific term for a kind of processing that uses. It's a little bit. I would say that in short, it is a technology that uses the four qualia of consciousness, which is image, body sensation, emotion, and mental thought, in order to quickly move through things in our field of in our like felt experience as people, whether those are like memories or things that we desire or goals that we have. It also uses something that's common to a lot of traditions, which is sort of creating and discreating things. I'm doing a horrible job of explaining this. It sounds so vague. Anyways, those are things that I do maybe with a client where I will I use those. It's
like a skill set you'll use for your
practice
coaching
that I use during coaching that just like helps people to get to the root of things very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's not like someone goes like, "Hey, can I order the accelerated evolution
coaching diet?" Yeah. Well, someone kind of could. It is a series of practices that help to get to what is actually under something very quickly and effectively.
Okay. Blaze wants to know, labels, how important is it to fit in a nice little container? Do you feel like you live outside of strict labeling?
Oh, what an interesting question. Labels are very empowering. Example, when I got the term phrasexual, have you ever heard this?
You've mentioned it before.
I did mention it before. I never heard of this before. And when I heard it, phrasexual is someone who is on I guess they're considered part of the asexual spectrum, but I don't think that's really accurate. It's someone who is more sexually attracted to people who they do not know. And as someone gets closer to them, they feel less sexual attraction for them. And this is me. I would maybe find someone, be very attracted to them, hook up with them, and then we would become friends, and then I didn't want to hook up with them anymore. I'm not the kind of person who likes to sleep with their friends. And when I learned that there was a term for that, I felt very seen and validated. And this is on top of other terms and labels that I had already applied to myself, like pansexual or bisexual at various points in my life. So I think labels are empowering when we feel like, oh, I'm not alone. This gives me a sense of identity that is beyond myself and connects me to a community of other folks. They can become disempowering when we feel like we are trapped, like this person said, in a box. Like, I am phrasexual, therefore I could never have sex with a friend. Well, if I have a friend that like I feel like having sex with and I don't allow myself to do it because of an identity, it's no longer authentic. I can be bi or fray or the other things that I use to identify non-monogamous or whatever. That's actually probably the best example there. What's most important to me is, do I feel freedom within myself and in my relationships to live authentically as I desire? And to me, the labels come after that. Okay.
Good answer. Chuckmaster 2000. This is a little bit of a long, there's a lot of build up in this. So, often practitioners who are either sex therapists or coaches will undergo a sexual attitude reassessment, a process that helps them understand their attitudes, values, beliefs about sexuality. SARs can also help participants understand how their sexual attitudes impact their professional interactions. Has she ever undergone an SAR as part of any training? Has she learned anything about her attitudes, about any aspects of sex that are truly not for her? And has that impacted the work that she does at all?
I love this question.
Do you understand this question?
Yeah.
Because I don't. So I'm glad you do.
This is good. I'm actually right now in the process of I have several coaches who work for me. And right now I am working to get all of them SAR trained. Okay. So an SAR is essentially a multi-day process in which you are exposed to a lot of different kinds of sexual content. and it helps you to determine where you have biases and judgment. And, and the idea is that when you are, my understanding anyways, is that when you're in session with a client and they maybe say something to you that you have a reaction to, you won't give that reaction live to that client, especially if that reaction would be seen as like judgmental or shocked or shaming, right? So you didn't know that puppy play was a thing, right? And this client comes to you and says that like, I'd really like to dress up as a dog and be walked around on a leash. And like you
need to be able to keep a straight face.
Therefore be able to keep a straight face and not react to that. So I personally have never done a SAR. I'm so ashamed to admit that. I've been wanting to do one for a long time. I came up in the world of sex and sex education through like self-teaching. So I exposed myself to a lot of things intentionally. But I haven't intentionally done a SAR. But I did though. I usually really pride myself on not ever being shocked or icked, or at least outwardly. Yeah. But when I was sex toy shopping in Japan recently, I totally icked and I felt really bad about it. I had a full on like reaction, and then I felt badly that I did that for the people who were like in the store with me that maybe were interested in that. I'm trying to remember what that was because
you're like, I've already blocked it out.
I really blocked it out. Okay, the funny thing is I can tell you exactly what part of the store I was in, and there were next to it were these giant syringes with like long tubes in that for like doing really, really deep, or not necessarily deep, but like, I don't know, maybe like really dramatic, but like pumping someone with fluids.
And you're like, that wasn't it.
That was fine.
That was fine.
That was, that wasn't, yeah. And then there was something immediately to the left of that I was like, whoa, no, not for me.
Something more extreme than, extra deep syringe pushing. Okay.
It was a giant the syringes were cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it's sort of like, it is a way of doing an enema.
Okay.
They could be used for an enema. They could be used for other things as well.
Okay.
I also think just for me and potentially for you as well, like I was born this way. Like I really was. Like I'm very difficult to phase inside of in this world in particular. Yeah. My sort of instinctual and gut reaction is typically like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, Amanda has probably a great question to end on. This has been, you and I go long because, like, as we did last time, I was here when I left your place, like, with their coach, back in February. I was like, we were here for like 6 hours.
We had and
we were just chatting nonstop. Oh, Caitlyn got me to eat pad thai.
I did.
I still don't even totally understand what
pad
thai is.
I wasn't sure if you shared about that with your.
Wait, what was the other thing? It was pad thai and pad what?
Pad CU.
Great. I can't spell it, but I ate it, and know.
And you liked it.
And I liked it.
And you didn't tell me that was your first time until after. I popped your Thai cherry, and I didn't even know that I was popping it.
Yeah.
At the time.
They are flabbergasted. They know my.
Oh, they know.
They know about
your food. You know what else I heard? I heard that.
You heard?
I heard that Elizabeth from Sex Tech took you to eat jerk chicken.
Oh yeah, but like I've had jerk chicken. Like it's Jamaican. I could do Jamaican. I have to sometimes pick and maybe play around with like, hey, can we not have this thing on that? But I could generally.
She said that she took you out for jerk chicken, and I was like,
she probably
what?
was like flabbergasted by how I ate it because I probably don't know how I'm literally supposed to pick it apart. But like,
that's less important. You just okay, sorry.
I like chicken. Part of it but the pad thai and the pad see ew, like one was like a beef and one was a chicken, and it was basically noodles. No one told me pad thai was new. Do you remember Talladega Nights? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Remember he goes like crepe, and they were like, yeah, we fucking hate crepes. And he was like, what? They're just tiny little pancakes. They're like, oh yeah, no, I like those. I like tiny little pancakes. They're great. It's like, yeah, they're just really thin. And like, oh, I like pancakes. It's like, yeah, they're just crepes. Like, no, I don't like crepes. Right, so it's like no one told me pad thai was noodles and chicken. I would have had it forever ago. I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Oh, got it.
They just kept saying these words I couldn't recognize, and I was a dumb American.
You thought that like someone had invented something more wild now than noodles and chicken with spices. Honestly, how many cultures have a version of noodles with chicken and spices?
Yeah, but all I would always read was words I don't recognize, which were scary to me. So yeah, Kayla got me eat pad thai and stuff. Everybody, hi. Okay, so Amanda wants to know, will she be shooting more episodes of Good Sex for HBO?
No, Good Sex was a single season. It's a complete capsule done in time, but I do have something in the works.
Is it something you can talk about?
No, it's so untalkaboutable.
Sure. Is it the thing we were talking about before?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It sounds cool.
It sounds
people.
cool, but
So,
it's not in the bag yet. So let's.
It's a good time to say, Caitlyn, where can people go to find you, follow you, and eventually hear about this thing that you told me about earlier that I was like, it actually sounds pretty dope.
You can find me on YouTube. That's where my content lives, is youtube.com/Caitlyn V, CAITLINV as in victorious. And if you want to message with me, I'm also on Instagram at Caitlyn Victorious X, and I will give you some links to things in this podcast that we talked about that I don't remember. Oh, my courses.
Yes. You have many awesome courses.
I have lots
so
of
people
courses.
can
Yeah. If you have premature
improve their
ejaculation,
sex
erectile
skills.
dysfunction, you want to have better communication, you want to learn how to give a yoni massage, an anal massage, a lingam massage, which is a cock massage. I've got courses on all of the above, and I can share those with you as well.
Yes. Go get those. Improve your sex games, everybody. There's skills out there. They can be learned. And you can be even better at the fucking that you do. Caitlyn, this is such a blast. Thank you for being Delulu with me.
Thank you.
Putting me in somebody else's shorts on your big fluffy bed while you're wearing some like ridiculous, confusing, oversized t-shirt. Great. With your mood lighting having kicked in.
Yeah.
And I can be like, yeah, sex in this room is probably dope.
pretty sensual, right?
When you were talking about the sensual thing, and then I finally noticed that I guess maybe that kicked on at some point because it's gotten darker outside. I was like, oh, this is. I got yelled at for mood lighting, the lack of mood lighting in my room. And then I bought some. It took like 7 different women before I bought a thing.
7.
Yeah, because like my place was like it's like lights are on.
I've been to your
place.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And so like eventually I bought
the lighting is
something.
rough in there. That costs like $15 on Amazon.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, but you also have the painted wall, which I think is part of what.
Yeah, I painted it so that we could film a course where I was massaging a woman's vulva, and I wanted a nice background for it.
I love that for everybody involved.
It was
in
a
that
business
shoot.
expense.
It's a business expense.
Yeah, me painting that wall was a business expense.
I love the things that can be business expenses in our world. I write off all the condoms I got.
Oh.
I also
Shit,
write off.
I just bought condoms on my fucking personal credit card.
I mean, everything's on my personal card, but like I save those receipts. I write off play party tickets.
Well, yeah, obviously,
costumes for
but
play
you
parties.
need to have an LLC or an S corp or something.
I was talking with the lady about that earlier, but anyways. Caitlyn, this was fantastic. Congrats on the new boo, and I want you to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you so much for having me back on. Thank you, everyone, for giving me so much grace and understanding that sometimes I also sleep, and this was great. I love you guys so much. Thank you for having me.
This week's episode is sponsored by Pad CU. Rhonda, are you happy now? I ate the thing. Yes, scandalous. Caitlyn V got me to eat Vietnamese food. I think it was Vietnamese food. Can someone let me know what Pad Thai is? Whatever. Is it Thai? Well, it's probably Thai because Thai is in the name. I don't know. I ate some stuff that I can't spell. And, longtime listeners know that that's been a lifelong struggle for me. If this is your first time listening to the Man-Whore Podcast, don't forget to click that subscribe or that follow button. If you're on one of those places that have ratings and reviews, leave 5 stars, leave some kind words. Are you struggling with your sex and dating life? Do you want to be hooking up more and it's not happening? Are you trying to make a special fantasy happen and you just don't know the logistics? Are you thinking about non-monogamy in your life or in your relationship? Well, enough sex coaches have told me I need to get into the coaching. So here I am. Now, coaches can be really, really expensive, and this is kind of a soft launch of my coaching offerings. And frankly, it's going to be the most affordable you'll be able to get me. And so I would act sooner than later before shit gets a bit more official over here. But if you've been wanting a male's perspective, if you've been wanting a dude with a sex positive attitude to help you achieve your sex and dating goals, what's up, dog? Hey, lady. shoot me an email at manwhorepod@gmail.com. Tell me a little bit about what you are struggling with and what you are hoping to work on, and let's see how I can help you. Okay, everybody, it's time to go see what my DVR'd Mama Rachel Maddow has to tell me about the Georgia State election boards. Hope you all have a great weekend. I'll see you next Wednesday. Stay slutty. Here's a little clip of Behind the Mic that I just dropped on Patreon the other day, where I'm talking about my feelings recording with comedian Mario Adrion.
Whenever I've had to go through oh, am I into men? It's never oh, I'm attracted to the guy. It's, oh, I want to steal his body. I want to rip it all off of his bone structure. I want to put it onto myself like a Halloween costume and then just walk around like a hotter human being.
But I'm told that's illegal. Again, download the Patreon app or visit patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Become a member today.